All right, so we are live. So welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you've had a good week so far. And for those of you that are observing the holiday today, hopefully everything is going smoothly with that. So we are here in week 4 of the semester, week 3 of MISA. So last week, for those of you that were with us, we had our amazing Shannon Dean Stewart, our alumni from our MIS MSITM program and current employee at Modernizing Medicine as the corporate IT support manager, come in and speak. So if you didn't get a chance to be with us last week, definitely go on the MISA website, and we have the event video from last week that you can watch ahead of time, because it was really a good session to be able to hear from him. So tonight we have, like I said, we alternate between company info sessions and general meetings. And so tonight is actually our first, I'd say, general meeting. I mean, unless we count the What is MISA and alumni panel, which we don't usually. So here's basically officially our first general meeting. So we're thankful for all of you that have come out tonight. So the game plan tonight is we'll go through kind of a quick presentation, not myself, from the officers, because for those of you that are in my class, you're like, I hear from this guy enough. So so you don't have to hear from me. So you can hear from your fellow peers. And basically what they'll do is they'll discuss a little bit about LinkedIn, what you can do with your profile, how to get things updated and make your profile attractive to employers, and how to utilize that as a tool. And then we'll kind of finish off the session, the second half, with our sort of get connected session. So we'll have some breakout groups, and we'll have some prompts that we get to do to kind of just get everybody to chat a little bit, not only get to know everybody, but at the same time be able to get you comfortable talking about your skills, your classes, work-related things that would end up coming up if you were in that type of professional setting. So that's kind of the game plan. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to our MISA president, Mr. Jonathan Rivas. So take it away, good sir. And Ms. Carice Joseph as well. I think they're doing a tag team. So, all right, I'll stop talking now. Jonathan, you're on mute. So I don't know if maybe he's not ready yet.
Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Appreciate it. Had some technical issues, but I think we're good now. Okay, so how's it going, everybody? I'm just loading this presentation up right now. So just give me one moment. All right, there we go. Let me move that over there. Okay. And then I'm not sure if you guys could see the presentation or not. You're good? Okay, cool. So welcome everyone again. I'm Jonathan Rivas. I'm the current president of MISA, and along with me is Carice Joseph. She's the vice president. One of the most beneficial sessions that I think we've ever have every semester is probably this Get Connecting networking / LinkedIn session that we usually have. A lot of people just don't realize how important networking is for their career and their future. And to be honest, MISA is just a huge networking organization. That's what we thrive for. Our goal is for you to network between your peers as well as companies. So let's go on to the next slide. So definitely, I'm talking now. I think I'm talking kind of confident right now. If I was speaking to you probably a couple of years before I joined MISA, probably wouldn't be sounding like this. I remember my first day walking into MISA, I walked all the way to the back table and just sat by myself. Didn't talk to anybody. It was just, hey, okay. It was a Professor Sweet's class. I was coming here to get extra credit. I wasn't even a MIS major yet. I was like, all right, let's, and then eventually a couple people approached me. I started talking, and then a couple of classmates I saw there. And we started conversation, and even that is networking. Just talking to your peers, talking about the classes you're taking, just reaching out to other peers. That itself is networking. So even if you're in this meeting right now and you're kind of hesitant to talk, or if you're in the past meetings and you're afraid to ask questions, it's okay. But we're here to help you bloom out of that and So let's move on forward. Okay.
Okay, so this is what networking is not. It is not like, talking to someone just to get a job, like, hey, can you get me a job at this company? You know what I mean? It's not like a one-way conversation. It's not about like what's in it for you. It's, being genuine, really trying to learn more about the other person and maybe what they're doing, the skills that they, learned to be successful in their field or anything like that. And yeah, it's not like that at all. And it's not like not following up with people, just having a conversation and then just being done with it. I think the meme right here sums it up perfectly. It says, let's see, gave you my card, pretending to be interested in you, repeatedly cut you off. Okay, what's next? It's not like that. It's supposed to be an engaging conversation where you're genuinely trying to learn more about the other person. And of course, this quote's really great too. It says the currency of real networking is not greed, but generosity, which is so true. So now this is what networking is. So like I said a little bit in the previous slide, it is genuine conversation with other people, trying to learn more about them, what they do, exchanging information. That could be like a business card, your LinkedIn profile, things like that, to learn more about each other. Establishing a genuine relationship with them, doing it because you genuinely want to know how they're doing. You genuinely want to know about them, not, how am I going to benefit from this relationship, and providing value to people. And you might think, well, I'm just a student. Like, how can I provide value to someone if, let's say, they're in a field? And I think just being genuine in conversation and asking them questions and showing that you're listening and caring about what they're saying, that's even providing a valuable conversation. And research has shown that anywhere from half to upwards of 80% of the jobs are filled through networking, and that's really true.
Okay, so if you were in the last meeting with Mr. Shannon Stewart, who you can see in the photo, I'm pretty sure probably every other sentence or every few sentences he would bring up networking and connections. Like I said, MISA is a networking organization to its core. So when you come to these company info sessions, you really want to take advantage of them. We don't just bring in like a regular help desk person to come and talk about their regular job. We actually bring in people that are hiring. We bring in HR people, managers, CTOs. So when these people are coming, they're not just coming to talk to you just to talk to you for fun. They're kind of, I guess, grocery shopping for the next set of hires that they're basically having. So they're going to come, they're going to discuss their company. I mean, let's say Modern Med from last week, Shannon talked about it. It sounded like a great culture, but they will also show you what to expect in the working field, certain requirements, what they look for a hire, and any advice. Obviously, they're here to provide it for you. We just got to ask the questions. And one question I asked was last week was, hey, time management. How do you do that last week? And he gave me great tips to how to balance that. So just asking about these certain career tips definitely help. So definitely if it's a company that you're really interested in possibly interning or joining, you definitely got to do preparation, especially if you want to connect with the person from the meeting. So first thing to do is research the company. I think another thing we brought up in the first week with the alumni panel is even sometimes if you might not even be interested in the company, just do your research. Maybe you just realize after doing research that, hey, this culture of this company is something that I'm definitely interested in. I never thought it would have been like this. Sometimes a lot of people would think that Google is just sitting down and coding, but then if they see their offices at Google, you see like in the main hallway, there's like slides going down the stairs. You might not notice that if you don't do your research. So definitely research the company, check their job listings and their certain qualifications. It definitely shows you certain options that you may have. And even sometimes if you don't have certain qualifications, always still try. Don't get deterred by 5-year minimum, like experience, all that stuff. Definitely try it, even if it has like certain qualifications that you may not reach. Prepare questions. Always prepare questions, especially in meetings. If you're asking a lot of questions for a company info session, the people that are presented will definitely see you as somebody that is popping out from the rest of the group, someone that has that motivation to ask questions and not afraid to be shy. So that goes on to the next one. You build a rapport and you stand out, so you're remembered after the presentation. And then remember the speaker's name and always try to connect to LinkedIn. No speaker we've ever had did not have a LinkedIn. Everybody has a LinkedIn. I remember for even one of my GEB classes, like one of our grades were having a LinkedIn. So make sure if you don't have a LinkedIn yet, just make one now. Okay. And then, so when you're talking with recruiters, always be prepared. So what to expect? Recruiters are always looking for people that they think that'll fit into their culture. Obviously they're looking for skills and always trying to fill certain roles or future roles that they're expecting. So, but the main core after my many experiences from these company sessions is they're always looking for genuine, like passionate people that want to work for their company. A lot of the time, they would rather hire like a genuine person that might have a little bit of skill that needs to be worked on over a super skilled person with a bad attitude. So always try to be as positive and genuine as you could be. So like I said, research a company. Elevator pitches are super important. I know we have the Byron, I think it's Byron coming in a couple of weeks to talk because FAU does offer a lot of career fairs. And one of the most important thing, if you're going to a career fair and talking to somebody, is having an elevator pitch, a quick 1-minute pitch that shows off you and the best you. Always have your resume printed out. You don't want to ever walk up and not have your resume printed out. Also, the Career Center will help you out with that too, but we'll get to that in that session. Always be confident, just be yourself. A lot of people get nervous and try to be who they're not to be, and that just makes them the opposite of confident when they're trying to talk to somebody. So just be you, and like I said, build rapport with the person, and like I said again, connect with them on LinkedIn. Okay. So what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the event itself? So if you, sometimes a lot of people expect when they're giving a pitch or talking to somebody that's hiring them, for them to only ask you the questions. But a big thing to do is actually ask the person that you may want to join their company with questions to themselves. So ask them like, hey, how many times have you been to this fair, this hiring fair or career fair? Ask them about certain current topics in the IT field. Talk about them. Ask them about their prior experiences, where they went to school, how they get into this position, how did they work themselves up to that position. Also, just look up in the internet, just questions to ask an employer, and always be aware of your surroundings, because that could also help you ask questions. So let's say we're looking at Professor Sweet. I could ask him, hey, you got a lot of books. You must be reading a lot back there. So that's an example right there. So there we go. And then continuing on.
So you can ask them a lot of questions about, the job itself. We just had a info session with modernizing medicine. So an example would be like, you could be like, how is the company culture there? How do you like the work that you're actually doing every day? Questions like that are really great to ask people. And also adding in different perspectives is really cool too. You know, they can tell you about something new that they're doing at their job and be like, oh, I heard about that in my class that I'm taking right now. Like, what do you think about this? Like things like that. You can also ask about them and their career path. Like, how did you get to this point? What skills did you learn to help you? What classes helped you? And what do you like enjoy about this role in this field? Things like that, really helpful. And then once you're wrapping up your conversation, you always want to follow up with them. So always thank them, obviously, say thank you so much for giving me your time. I know you're busy. And give them your email or LinkedIn and catch up with them another time if you want. And you can even throw in a reference to your conversation. This is a really good thing if you want to show that you were listening and you did care about what they're saying. If they mention, yeah, I'm going on a trip next week to Colorado, just be like, oh, I hope you have a great trip and enjoy it. And let me know how that goes, to show, it's a genuine conversation. And always follow up on email or LinkedIn. And if there's something in your conversation that you guys were talking about in the field, for example, and you see a post on LinkedIn about it, something new that's happening, you can always send that over and be like, what do you think about this? I just saw this on my LinkedIn. Like, what are your thoughts? And yeah, it's really great. And here are some ways to virtually network. This is, ever since COVID, some people have struggled with the networking virtually. You don't get to see the person face to face, but there are still things out there to help you with this. So if you check your email, you probably get a lot of emails about our career fairs. There's always a bunch, especially around this time. I've been getting a bunch of emails and across different fields. There's so much out there for you. And you can also use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the best resources for networking. Most of the time that I'm networking with people, I use LinkedIn too. And you can even cold connect with people on LinkedIn too. Just be like, hey, I saw that you are majoring in MIS, or I saw that you work at this company. I would like to learn more about it. And you can say, I'm a student at FAU, I'm trying to learn more about it, and introduce yourself. And that's how you can, start a conversation. You can see down here on the bottom right, like a sample message that you can send. That would be really helpful.
Okay, so we've talked about networking through the past 11 slides. So it's probably a huge emphasis for this meeting. So what have we learned? What is networking? It's creating a genuine connection. And I'm not saying like a fake connection, you trying to be like, hey, cool shirt, and being like, hey, no, be real, you know. Don't expect anything in return. Don't try to be over the top and just be all salty if you don't get anything return or a message back. But if you don't get a message back, like Reese just said, always try to send a reach out email or a link through LinkedIn. Try to prove how much value you could be for a company. And it's not just by skills, it's by worth ethic. Worth ethic is probably the biggest things anybody could provide in a company, is up with a great attitude. So always think about that. And think about when you're networking, making a new friend. Having friends, like even if you don't get hired in a company, if you still have a genuine connection with that person may even give you a recommendation. Even if they don't hire you, they may point you to another company. And just try to figure out how you stand out in front of everybody, whether it's you're a great talker, you're a fast typer, you're great at working with people, you have great time management. There's a lot of things that you're probably good at and you just probably don't think about it. Just sit down to 10 minutes and think about the pros and cons of yourself, and you might be surprised at like certain pros that you'd be good at. So here's the importance of LinkedIn and networking. So I put a couple stats in here. Well, actually, my boy Raymond actually put these for me last semester. So appreciate you, Raymond. So 3% of people who apply on a job board land a job. 87% of recruiters actively utilize LinkedIn, and 85% of jobs are filled through networking. So a thing that was brought up the last info session was our presenter applied to like 50, 60 different jobs and only heard back from maybe 2 or 3. So that's where that 3% comes from. And a lot of people don't like get demotivated because they're not hearing back from a lot of these companies. They think something's wrong with them. But if you talk to most of the people here that are presenting, or a lot of people in here that have tried to apply through some of these job boards, it maybe one out of 10 or 1 out of 30 you might hear back from. So don't feel like it's just you. It's a very competitive market, but the right person will find you. And like I said, 87% of recruiters actively use LinkedIn, and any qualified business or any business that you would want to work for uses LinkedIn. It is the most important profile you could ever make. So if you don't have one yet, really work on doing that, because I'm sure you have a great Instagram profile, a great Facebook profile. You got those pictures on fleek. Let's get a pretty swank dressed up profile picture for your LinkedIn. Let's put that info in. Let's make yourself look like you're a top tier hire for these recruiters on your LinkedIn page. And like I said, a lot of these hires are through LinkedIn. So
Jonathan, you had just a message came in the chat. I don't know if you want to take a peek at that.
Yeah, let me check it out.
You want me to read it for you?
Yes, are these stats from FAU students and staff? So no, it's legitimate stats pulled from either straight from LinkedIn or from reliable resources. So obviously we've pulled them from those resources. So technically it is from FAU students, but it's pulled from reliable sources. Oh, there's
Raymond put the chat in there, so you're good.
Yeah, awesome. There you go. Appreciate it, Raymond. And then there's our boy Christian Chavez. He just joined in time. So we this is our previous president's LinkedIn profile page. So there's a little bit of controversy. Some people think that you need to have the most super suit up profile picture, but you want to display yourself in the way that you want to work in the future. Christian Chavez is not a suit and tie person. He doesn't want to work for a suit and tie company. He wants to work for a more chill and I guess progressive company. So as you can see in his profile picture, it's not him dressed up in any kind of crazy suit, but it's still like a genuine like photo of him actually having a good time. Having a great smile on your picture is probably like one of the biggest things to have. I've seen a lot of LinkedIn photos where you have a suit and tie and you have like, I guess like a little mugshot face going on. Don't do that. That's like not a good look for a lot of companies. Try to have a genuine like smile in your LinkedIn page. He has a great about section. It talks about what makes him a valued person for a company, as well as talking about himself in a short but solid manner. He put in his experience under his experience section where he's put all his previous works. And if you think like your previous jobs don't matter, it does. Although I'm working at a help desk position right now, I still have my experience at Target as a logistics manager there, because like I said, one of the most important things for people who are hiring is work ethic. So even if it was a job that's not in the IT field, just knowing that I was a manager at Target at one point shows that, hey, I had some kind of leadership role at some point in my career. Another important thing is putting your education. If you haven't graduated yet, it's fine. You can put Florida Atlantic University, what your degree is going to be, and your expected graduate date's going to be. And another thing that is especially important for especially MIS students, especially, is licenses and certs. To be honest, a lot of companies might prefer certs over certain degrees, to be honest. So like I said, when you're looking at these job boards, a lot of these requirements for these companies might be certain certs and licenses. So make sure you're looking at that. There's a lot of different ones you can take, so look into that. And another important one is skills and endorsements. Definitely do that. So you could put anything that you think you're good at. One of the biggest ones I tell people is, if you're okay at Excel, Word, PowerPoint, say you are, put that as one of your skills. If you're good at the Google ecosystem and docs, slides, put that in your skills and endorsement. Anything that you know skill wise, put that in your skills and endorsement, and try to have people also endorse you that also know you. So also put your interests, certain accomplishments. But so this is basically the core, but there's different structures and ways you could go about it, but definitely do your research. There's TED Talks about LinkedIn. There's different universities and professors that actually have YouTube videos talking about how to properly set it up. Even in this school, if you have GEBs, so I think, at least for mines, we talk about LinkedIn. So let's move on forward. Okay. So like I said before, profile pictures are important. So we have the lovely Emily on the bottom left. Having a cool theme in your is really important. Obviously, she is in the MIS/IT field, so she put a pretty cool background, kind of techie background in the back, but it's appropriate, you know. A lot of people just want to put like a pretty basic background, and that's okay too, but try to make yourself pop out, especially on your profile stuff. There's different styles. Like we said, we have Shannon, he put like a quote there. We have Laszlo on his, he's trying to put out the image of teamwork, kind of hit the culture where he's at. And Joseph, he kind of has more of like more of a laid back vibe. Just looking at these pictures, you could kind of see the vibe that everybody wants to display. So it's pretty important for a decent profile photo and background photo. Okay.
So another important section is your about section. That's really where people are going to get to see your personality shine through. So yeah, many people go a lot of different ways with this. People talk about themselves in the third person or first person with this. People include like their background, like where they went to school, things like that. Other people try to focus more on how they like their personality traits. So like many people will say things like, oh, I am a highly motivated individual who wants to learn more about computers, and I love working in this field, like I love the field and things like that. And that allows people to see their about page and say, wow, that looks pretty cool. They seem really interested in the field. They are motivated, they are positive, things like that. It allows people to see more about you and your story rather than just looking at all of your achievements. So it's a really great section that you want to spend a lot of time on. And you can also add documents on LinkedIn. I don't know if you guys have seen that section. You can add on your resume so people can look at that. You can add on your website as well if you have one, and videos too, and even social platforms too. So it's really great to connect with others that way. And right, so when you're describing your different experiences within LinkedIn, you want to take action verbs, kind of like the way that you would on your resume. So promoting this product, things like that. And you're kind of relisting your resume in a easier format for people to go through and really look at. And you want to talk about how you added value to a company or whatever experience you're talking about. You can say, yeah, I helped them increase, social media followers by this percentage, and I did this for the company, and this allowed us to gain more customers, for example, things like that. People want to see how you added value and how you helped this company succeed. And yeah, this is just for them to see how you have helped in your experiences, and how you didn't just you didn't just work at this place, you added value and you helped them. So yeah.
Okay, there we go. So like I said, skills and endorsements pretty important. Like I said, any skill that you think you're proficient in, put it in. If you're an FAU, you're going to be skilled at Excel because everybody has to take uh, either Professor Sweet's class or anybody else that's teaching that. Like I said, if you're efficient at Word, any Office stuff, any Google ecosystem stuff, just put that. People will endorse you. There's tons of different skills that if you look up, you say, I'm actually pretty good at that. So I always put that in. Okay. And then just having a analytics assessment, having questions for people to answer on your page, just having your page a little bit of interactive will definitely be helpful. Getting badges is pretty cool too. It like basically is like certifying you for those skills. If you get a certain amount of endorsements and certain things like that, it's kind of like, hey, this guy's definitely not just faking the skill. He's genuinely solid on that. Okay. So I'm just going to go over Handshake just quickly for maybe another 2 minutes, and then we'll probably go out into the breakout rooms. So Handshake is a student only, I guess, job board where us as FAU students and other universities kind of get an advantage compared to other people that aren't currently in school, because we are being offered these jobs straight out of college, either through internships or direct hires. And it's specifically for us. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of jobs that are saying, hey, we need this much years of experience for you to join us. Handshake kind of helps eliminate that, because obviously Handshake is made for students. So people that are hiring through Handshake obviously realizes that we're students coming straight out of school. So that's one of the biggest perks for Handshake. Just like Handshake, you'll have a profile, you'll have your about section, you will have your education, your work experience. It's very similar to LinkedIn, so I'm not gonna go too much more into it, but the same effort that you're going to put into your LinkedIn profile, you should put into your Handshake. Having both of these accounts will only help you with your future jobs and careers and possible hirings. So obviously, once you have a profile, you'll constantly get messages from people with possible hires. So I always say to tell people, even if you're not interested, always reply back to people that are possibly interested in you. It puts you in a position where it shows that you're always interested in a certain job, but it just puts you in a better image when you're always replying back to somebody. So always don't just like have like a full inbox of just unread messages. Read the messages, reply to the people. And even if you're uninterested, just say, hey, thank you for the offer, but currently I'm not interested. But I will always keep you in my mind and possibly in the future. It's always best to do that. So this is kind of how the handshake page looks at. So a lot of us are looking for internships, especially over the summer. So you'll see full-time summer stuff such as right here. And then you also have like we had for Shannon, full-time jobs are offering for business analytics, for different roles. So you're able to filter through Handshake and look for specific roles. So there's always a lot of options for you there. And like I said, since Handshake and FAU is kind of integrated, you'll be able to see all the events that we're holding here at the university as job fair careers, certain companies coming in. So always look out for certain events coming up because that's important. Okay, so I think we're at the point where we could break out into breakout rooms. Officers, if you are the breakout leader, I sent you the slides in Slack, so you'll be able to ask your members in your room the questions there. So you can pull it up on your phone or on your computer, and if you're the leader for that breakout room, just try to keep them active in there. Appreciate it.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and stop the recording then, Jonathan. So
Yep.